Breaking news is in as Lonzo Ball is playing 5-on-5 full contact basketball. We're going to be talking about what this means for Lonzo Ball, and more importantly, what does this mean for the Chicago Bulls heading into next season. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and this is another episode of Bulls Digest. And before we jump into the topic of the day, want to share a message from the sponsor of today's video, NordVPN. Hopefully the Chicago Bulls can get a clearer plan and move the franchise forward. Unlike the Chicago Bulls, you can have a plan when it comes to protecting your devices from online threats. That's right. The best way to do this is with NordVPN, which you can get by clicking the link in the description to this video. With NordVPN Threat Protection Pro, you can block against fake websites, against phishing, and other fraud and other scams online. That's right. You can go ahead and protect your Wi-Fi from being compromised with a single click. You can encrypt and defend your virtual private network. Make sure that you go ahead and you improve your security and block pop-ups. And once again, you can go ahead and get this with nordvpn.com/bulls. This is an exclusive offer where you get 4 months of extra service along with Nord's risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. All right, this is great news if you're a Chicago Bulls fan. This is great news if you're an NBA fan. The fact that Lonzo Ball has come through everything that he has just really gone through to get to this point with those knee injuries, to be able to play 5-on-5 full contact basketball, that is a huge win, especially since he's come out in his podcast and really stated the fact that he wants to be out there with the Chicago Bulls on opening night. And I think that he is trending in the right direction. So let's go ahead and talk about what was said in this particular article. And Joe Cali of the Chicago Sun-Times said that, look, Lonzo Ball has been playing full contact 5-on-5 scrimmages and that there's been no setbacks. That is huge. No setbacks. Now, this is where it gets interesting when it starts to talk about Lonzo Ball in his future with the Chicago Bulls. Okay, so here's Cali again saying that, look, it is Josh Giddy, not Lonzo Ball, who will be looked at as the primary ball handler for the team. And it hasn't been explicitly said what the starting plans are going to be for the Chicago Bulls, but it doesn't sound like Lonzo Ball will be in them. All right, so let's go ahead and unpack what Joe Cali had to say there. So first and foremost, I think that it is a huge positive that, that Lonzo is back playing the 5-on-5s and there has been no setbacks. All right, so he hasn't had to take any additional time off. We don't hear of any knee pain or anything like that. That is a great sign. Now, moving forward here, he talks about what Josh Giddy and Lonzo Ball, that dynamic is going to look like moving forward as far as being the starting point guard, I guess, for this Chicago Bulls team. And, he reiterates a lot of what had already been said, that Josh Giddy essentially is going to be Lonzo Ball's replacement. All right. And so, that leads me to a couple different points in the video. And so first, I want to point out the fact that we don't know what type of Lonzo Ball we are going to get back. All right. Is he 40? Is he 50? Is he 70, 80, 90, maybe even 100% of who he used to be? All right. So I think that is probably going to dictate a lot of what the Chicago Bulls do moving forward. Now, it looks like they're probably going to bring him along slowly and off the bench. I can certainly understand that. And the one thing that I will say about this particular piece, when they're talking about the 5-on-5s, they don't tell you who he's playing against. They don't say like, hey, he's played against G Leaguers. They don't say he's playing against NBA starters. We don't know how well he played in those scrimmages either. Did he look like himself? Was he a shell of himself, right? So we really don't know what type of player we're still getting back from these tough knee injuries, all right? So that's a huge piece of information moving forward, I think, for Chicago Bulls fans and really, I guess, for the franchise, what they're looking to do. Next, I'm going to say that I think that Lonzo Ball is going to run into a situation where he's going to be one of two players. All right. And I'm hoping and rooting for the fact that he does get some more years back on his career. He goes on to be successful after having to sit out the last couple seasons. But I think the first player he could become is going to be, I think, Sean Livingston. Sean Livingston played for the Golden State Warriors. He became an NBA champion. He was a bit of an NBA journeyman for a while after his knee injuries, but he was able to rebuild his career after some horrific knee injuries. And I think that Lonzo Ball has a high IQ on the offensive and defensive end. So I think that on the offensive end, he can knock down shots. He can also get teammates open. On the defensive end, I think he's a great off-ball defender who can often play the passing lanes and create a break. So even if he doesn't have the athleticism to run it, he certainly has enough to get it started. So I think that alone will make him a very attractive piece to just about any NBA franchise out there, especially a team that is looking to contend. All right. And so I think that, hopefully, I think with Lonzo, he's able to show really what he can do to the rest of the NBA. And if it comes down to a trade situation, he's going to have to up his trade value, because clearly it looks like when you see a statement about this Josh Giddy, Lonzo Ball situation and them choosing Josh Giddy, it looks like that Lonzo Ball just is not going to fit into the Chicago Bulls timeline, even though he's 27 years old. I know that's fairly young, but it doesn't seem like the Chicago Bulls are going to want to reinvest another multi-year contract into Lonzo Ball. And I don't think it's going to make sense for Lonzo to come back on a minimum deal and not be in a winning situation. So that's why I'm hoping that he turns into more of a Sean Livingston type of player than, a player like Brandon Roy. All right. Brandon Roy, he won the NBA Rookie of the Year in 2007, and he was a great player for the Trailblazers, but he ran into some very bad knee issues. In fact, he had to retire because he lost cartilage in his knee and he was not able to recover. Now, this happened in 2007 or past 2007. 2007 is when he won the Rookie of the Year, but it was in that time era. And I know that, yes, there has been some NBA medical advances since then. Obviously, if you go back and look at what Lonzo Ball talks about with his knee injury, I'm not sure if that was around for Brandon Roy during that time, but you're hoping that Lonzo ends up more like a Sean Livingston than Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy tried to get his career going again and just never was the same type of player. And so that leads me to really the questions of the video, and that is, do you think that Lonzo Ball will turn into a player like a Sean Livingston, be able to come off the bench with his minutes varying, but be able to perhaps win a championship or help a team win a lot of games off the bench? Do you feel like, I'm not sure Lonzo Ball is going to return back to form and he might be comparing to a player like Brandon Roy? Or do you feel like, I think Lonzo Ball is going to come back. He's going to be 100% of himself, and he is going to force the Chicago Bulls to make a tough decision on Josh Giddy and the future of the team moving forward. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. And before we get out of here, I just wanted to thank everybody out there who comments on the videos, who watches the videos. And just to let you know that 72.5% of you that watch the videos are not subscribed to the channel. So please make sure that you slam dunk on that subscribe button, as it would mean the world to me as we try to reach 5,000 subscribers before the next NBA season. And even though we don't know what type of Lonzo Ball we are going to get back at the start of the season, I'm still saying go Bulls, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.